Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar session. We're so happy to have you here. We're just going to wait a couple of more minutes so everyone can join, and then we'll start in about 3 to 5 minutes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We're so excited to have you here. This is, I think, the third or fourth session of Tech Talks. It's a new webinar series we have at the moment, and it goes a little bit more technical into the services that we offer and what we can help you with. And of course, today we will be discussing how to integrate apps with Microsoft Teams. I'm very excited about this particular session because I use Microsoft Teams for almost everything. I'm on it the whole day, as are my colleagues as well, and it's a great tool to collaborate and communicate with my colleagues. Before we start with the webinar, I would like to introduce my colleague, Dane. Hi, Dane.
Hi, Marcy. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm so happy you're here with us again today.
I'm
So
happy to be
Dane will
here.
be great. So Dane will be leading the webinar today. He is a highly experienced IT expert who loves to share his passion for the cloud solution. He is a part of the Azure task force of Inova Solutions, which is a task force that can guide you with your journey to the cloud. And before we start off with the webinar content, I will be giving you a short introduction of Inova Solutions. We are a cloud solution provider, and we operate in the Caribbean and in South America. And if we've got your interest with the Azure Task Force, we will be giving you details on how to get in touch with Dane and his team at the end of the webinar. So as I said before, Inova Solutions is the trusted cloud solutions provider for Microsoft with a gold level partnership in the Caribbean and South America. Our mission is to empower organizations of all sizes to create business advantages by adopting digital transformation. We really enjoy what we do, and we have people and experts who are passionate about our mission. We are headquartered in Curacao, but we operate in the Caribbean region and Ecuador. We have offices in Ecuador, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Puerto Rico. For example, I'm in Curacao, so I work at the headquarters, but Dane is located in Jamaica. So it's a pleasure to communicate daily with my colleagues from in the Caribbean and Ecuador. And as a as a employee of Inova Solutions, I'm proud to say that we have won the Microsoft Partner of the Year awards for the past 7 years. But most importantly, and as I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of Teams. We use the products and solutions that we sell. So for us, it is a pleasure to share our knowledge and our experience and our expertise with you. Dane, take it away.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Marcy. All right. So as Marcy indicated, we use what we sell, right? So let's talk about Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams is a chat-based collaborative platform that we use to complete documents. We do document sharing, we do online meetings, and many other extremely useful features for our business, right? So in this presentation, we're going to be discussing the various aspects of Teams, what each aspect represents and what you can do with it, right? So you might hear the term chat and channel, but do you know the difference between a chat and a channel? All right, so basically in a chat, right, you may notice that, so you're currently using Teams right now, right? And you might notice that you see a chat icon here in your Teams platform, and you might notice that there's a team section, which we'll get to shortly. So within the chat platform, you're able to do individual collaboration. You can talk to, for example, I could be talking to Marcy right now in a chat, right? One-on-one chats, or we could have group chats. So that's the chat version. We'll go into channels soon. All right, so you are able to name your chats. For example, so for future references, you, for example, say me, Marcy, and Michael decided to have a chat. I could name this chat so that I could locate it for the next time I want to speak on this particular topic or something. Within chats, we can add attachments, we can share documents, we can even make calls within chats. So if you open your chat, you'll notice these three icons. This icon represents a video chat. where we could start an online video meeting, or we could just make a simple call where we just have a voice-to-voice collaboration. This icon represents a share feature. This icon right here. So say I wanted to do a presentation to you. For example, currently I'm presenting my screen to you. So this is the icon that I've used to enable screen sharing. So say an employer is no longer with us, or maybe we have reached an aspect in the chat where this user is no longer needed for the chat. We could also remove this person or add someone to the chat. So there are various things we can do within a chat, but I'll be demoing this shortly. So I indicated that we have channels as well, right? So channels now is more of a collaboration. It allows us to, it gives us more features than what the chat gives us. We are able to create threaded conversations. We were able to share files. We are able to have multiple channels within the Teams section. We'll be going into that shortly as well. And you can also add and remove people from channels as well. So as I said before, when you're utilizing channels, it's a threaded conversation. So if you understand the term thread, for example, say Marcy decided to start a conversation, I could reply to Marcy's message specifically within that thread and keep it unified. Don't worry, I'll show you that all in a demo shortly. So the formatting of the channel, we can able to lock down who can reply in your channels. We can make announcements instead of a conversation. We can post the same message to multiple channels. I'll show you how to do that. And you can have a subject as well as content. So before I go into the chat and channel demo, I decided to change it up a little by just doing one full-on demo after the presentation. So this presentation is about integrating apps with Teams. All right, so I'm going to show you how to access various apps, how to collaborate, how to use flows, create forms, Plano, and so forth. All right, so let me exit the presentation and go straight into Teams. So this is your Microsoft Teams interface, right? And as I indicated before, you have your chats, you have activities up here. Your activities would show you various notifications. For example, if you're tagged inside of a message, case in point, say I'm about to tag Jermaine here. You tag someone by @ing their name. So you put @ symbol and I'm tagging Jermaine. So once I send this message, Jermaine will get a notification that there's an activity that his name might be tagged in something or. So this is what the Jermaine feed might look like. So here's an example. Jermaine reacted to a post that I sent earlier. So this is what you'll see in your activity feeds, right? Marcy, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, Zane, so I'm not seeing your screen. I'm still seeing your PowerPoint presentation.
Wow.
Did something go wrong?
Let me reshare. Let me stop and reshare.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes,
Marcy?
Dane, you're good to go.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So let me start back from scratch. So the activity interface will indicate to us what what activities are associated with you. So I was saying, case in point, Jermaine reacted to a message I sent earlier. So Jermaine gave me a thumbs up. So I got this within my activity feed, right? But let's talk about the chats. So I told you that with chats, we're able to do one-on-one messages. We are able to create new messages. So say, for example, I wanted to create a chat with Marcy. So if I wanted to create a new chat, right, I would select this icon, which represents new chat. So I would look for the individuals that I would like to chat with. So I'm looking for Marcy, Jermaine, and I'm going to start a new chat with these individuals. All right. So now I've created a chat with Jermaine and Marcy. As you realize, I have options up here. I can do a video call with Marcy and Jermaine. I can do an audio call. And I also can do a screen share. I also have the option to view and add participants. So at the moment, I only have Jermaine and Marcy in this chat, but I have the options to add people. And I also have the options to leave, right? There's also the option to pop out this chat. So once you select that pop out icon, as the name suggests, it's popped out and it's in a window by itself, right? So these are the things that you can do in chats. Another thing you could do in chats is I could send a attachment. So this attachment could be a direct upload from my computer or my OneDrive. So let's say I wanted to do an upload from my OneDrive to this chat. I'm gonna select OneDrive, then I'm gonna select the document that I would like to share with Marcy and Jermaine. So now this document is now added. I can just click send, and Marcy and Jermaine will now have this document, right? So hey, Marcy, I seem to have lost internet connection just now. I'm back.
Yes, you're back. Okay, great.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I was about to show you guys how we can I'm back.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. All right, so I was about to say we wanted to do a poll within our chat. There is an option for us to create a poll by utilizing Microsoft Forms. So if you notice, there's a few options here. We can format our text, we can add attachments, we can add smiley faces, we can add GIFs. But most importantly, we can make it more interesting by creating a poll. So we create a poll by using Microsoft Forms. So there are multiple ways that we can access Microsoft Forms, right? This is one of the ways that we can. So from inside the direct chat, we can create a poll. So question 1. So created a question. And now I'm sending it for Marcy and Jermaine to take part. and instantly we can see the responses from persons within the chat. So this is one of the interesting tools that we can utilize within Microsoft Teams. Seeing that we're on forms, let's talk about how many ways we can access forms within Teams. So say you're using forms for the very first time, all right? And you want to add it to your Teams. What you could do is select this ellipsis and search for forms. Once you select it, you're now adding forms to your Microsoft Teams. Okay, so we have seen that Marcy has voted. Well, we have one response. I'm assuming it's Marcy.
Yep, it's me.
Thank you very much. Okay. So when we open up forms from the apps menu, we have options to add it to a team, add it to a chat, or add it to a meeting. All right. So let's add it to a team this time around. So I'm going to select the team that I want to add the form to. I'm going to search for a team. All right, so I'm going to set it up in the Inova general. Better yet, let me use this. All right, so I'm going to start a new conversation within Dane's team. All right, so I'm now this is a new channel. This is different from chats. This is a channel now, which I said would be a threaded aspect. I'm going to add various options. And save it. I'm going to submit my vote and then send. So previously I showed you, we could have added a form to a chat. Now I've added a form to a channel, right? So this is how we add a form to a channel. All right, so there are other things that we could add. There's an app called Task by Plano. Now this Task by Plano brings together your individual tasks from your to-do, your outlooks with your team, and it allows you to organize yourself, all right? So here's my task by Plano. These are my current tasks. So one of my tasks is to present integrated apps with Microsoft Teams, which is categorized as important, and it's due on the 24th of June. Another task that I have in my planner is to review the config server, which has also been prioritized as important, which is due tomorrow. So let's take a look at the present on integrating apps with Microsoft Teams. So as I indicated, you can create tasks, you can set the priority levels as important or medium, you can assign a due date. So for example, say, I think today is too soon for this important task. I could change the date here and set it for the 29th. I could add a note. So I add the note and I review the checklist. So at the moment, I have 2 items in the checklist to show the audience how to use the to-do with Microsoft and how to demo Microsoft Forms with Microsoft Teams. All right, so that's how you do it. But I want to say I wanted to assign a task. So if you notice, there are 2 areas. You have the My Task and the Shared Plans. The My Task are tasks that are associated with me, tasks that I have created, tasks that I have set as important. You notice that there is a planned area, right? The planned area represents items which are provided with a due date. So you would see the due date in the planned area. The assigned to me are the tasks that are assigned with my responsibility. But let's take a look at tasks within the Azure Task Force. So this plan, in the shared plan, what we would do is create task and assign it to different individuals. So the My task are the tasks that are associated to me, and within the shared plan are the tasks that we would assign to individuals in your team. So you'd create a new task. So let me create a new task. Build out virtual environment, and I'll assign it to a team member. So I'll just look up a team member's name and assign it to this individual. So as you notice, there are more options where priority is concerned within the shared plan. You now have urgent, important, medium, and low. So I'm going to set this task as low. And I'm going to assign a due date as the 6th of July. Right? So that's something that we can utilize within Teams. We can plan out our activities. We can drill them down into steps. So for example, if I wanted to do a breakdown of the build out environment, I could just go into this. So we created it. Let's open it, and we can add checklists. So we can add step by steps of what we would like to be involved. And we can also add attachments. So for example, we could pull from a file, we could pull from a link or a SharePoint area, right? All right. So let's go back to forms again, because there's something interesting I would like to show you guys where forms are concerned. So there are 2 ways you can access forms. You can access forms within Microsoft Teams, and you can access forms within your browser. Let me show you forms within your browser. So forms is really interesting, guys. Uh, Forms, Microsoft. All right, so we go to the forms URL. We're going to sign in. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to show you something interesting that we can do with what is happening.
Just 1 second,
Yeah,
everyone, while Dean figures out the forms sign in.
it keeps pointing to the wrong account. Right, so let me try a different browser. I'm almost there, people. I'm getting there. Ah, yes, good. Here we are.
Great, Dean.
All right, so I'm in. All right, so we have no access forms within the browser. All right, so say I wanted to create a new form. So I select create new form. So if you didn't see that just now, what I did was select create new form, and it took me to this page. So once I give it a title, I have the options to make it a multiple choice. So I'm going to create a multiple choice. It seems like I have food on my mind, so I'm going to write what's for dinner. So I'm thinking chicken, but I'm also thinking shrimp. I'm going to add one more question. Also have drinks on my mind. So I'm thinking a Long Island iced tea. Strawberry milkshake.
Am I invited to these plans, Dean? Because they look great.
All right, so I know I have two questions, right? So I can preview what the form would look like before sharing it, right? So this is how the form would look on your computer, right? And you realize it's clickable. All right, submit another response. We can also preview how it would look on a mobile by selecting mobile, all right? So this is how it would look on your mobile device. Also, we can enable Immersive Reader. Now, this is a very interesting feature that you could utilize within the browser and within Microsoft Teams. So Immersive Reader would allow us to will allow the questionnaire to read to the audience. So for persons who are hearing impaired or maybe unable to see what a document is saying clearly, we can do this instead. So this is how it would look. Marcy, let me know if you can hear. Could you hear the questionnaire?
No, I cannot hear the questionnaire.
Okay, no. So it seemed like I would need to share the audio.
Yes,
but yeah, so
need to.
What happens, guys, is that once you enable Immersive Reader, the questions will read out to the audience. So you're tailoring for people who are maybe unable to see what the questionnaire is saying. The questionnaire would now read to them, and then they will be able to select their choices. So let me exit the Immersive Reader. So this is how forms would look. So we create the demo, we preview it, we can add a team to it, we can, make it a little interesting by designing it and so forth. And then once we are satisfied with the structure of it, we can then share it. So I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to place it within this chat. So this chat consists of me, Marcy, and Jermaine. So Marcy should know I have access to this form. So we now see that there are various ways to utilize forms. We can utilize forms within the browser, and also we can integrate it with Teams by just utilizing the forms icon highlighted down here. There's also another really exciting tool, exciting app that you can use within Microsoft Teams called Yamo. This is a communication-based platform, the Community tab. So the purpose of, so you might be wondering, why do we need communities if we already have teams and we can have threaded conversations there? Well, for teams, we try to keep that section, professional. We discuss projects and stuff there. But we need somewhere where we can announce, our achievements. So for example, say we just won an award, or case in point, Adriana's announcement, or say we got a new certification. This would be an ideal area for us to announce what we have achieved. So just like Plano, Yamo, we can add members to our team or community. So I'm adding Marcy to my community and I'm creating it. So here's my community. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to put it there. So say I had multiple people within this community, and I wanted to ensure that everyone saw my message. What I could do is I could select this icon here and pin the conversation to ensure that once anyone accesses my community, this will be the very first thing they see because it would be pinned to the top. All right. So it can be pinned. We can close the conversation. We can do various things with it. But let me pin it for now because I want, once Marcy accesses my community, it's the very first thing that she sees, right? So that's Yamo. So let's track back and go back to the productivity tools, right? So you may notice that Teams is integrated with your Outlook. So for example, where your calendar is concerned, what is in your Outlook calendar is also in your Teams calendar, right? So there is a very interesting feature within Teams that we can create. So let me say, let's create a new meeting, right? So I'm about to schedule a meeting. I'm gonna add Marcy to this meeting because Marcy is cool. And
Thanks.
so add Marcy. I have the option to say whether or not the meeting will be repeated, if it's going to be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So I can customize the occurrence of this meeting, right? I also can add a channel to this meeting. All right, so you realize that everything is integrated within Teams. So yeah, I can add a channel within this. So let me send this. So now this meeting has now been created and it's now in my calendar as Dane's demo meeting. So if I was supposed to now open my Outlook, so I'm opening my Outlook, and I go to my calendar, I should now see Dane's demo meeting. So this is the meeting now with Marcy. So anything that we create within Teams will reflect within Outlook. Once it's a meeting, once it's anything to do with any meetings or anything, it will reflect in your Outlook as well. All right. So there are so many more apps that we could utilize within Microsoft Teams. So let's take a look at all these apps. So we spoke about forms, which we can create quiz, surveys, polls. We spoke about task by planner, which allows us to track our progress within our project, or, we can assign individual tasks to individuals, right? This will aid us in being accountable. You can also have a task assigned to a channel. You can also have a task created within a chat. And you can do the same thing for forms, chat, or channels. We also spoke about communities where we can do our announcements, we can do our blast, we can, have our random discussions, right? It's fully interactive, and there's also the mobile app for Yamo, which integrates well with Teams, right? There's also an app called Approvals. Let's take a look at Approvals. So approvals are, as the name suggests, are a way for you to send approvals, share approvals within your team. So say you're working on a project and you're at a stage where you need an approval before you go to the next stage. You can create an approval. So let me open up an approval. So I'm going to add this to a chat. So I'm going to refer back to the Jermaine and Marcy chat. And I'm going to set it up. All right. So now I know I've an approval created for Jermaine and Marcy chat. All right. So now let me create something that I would like them to approve. So it's going to ask you what type of request is it. Is it a basic request, or it requires to be e-signed, as in digitally signed? So I'm going to have it as a basic request. So Jermaine is going to be an approval, but I also want Marcy to be an approval. So I know I have two approvals, right? I can provide additional details of what I want them to approve, but I think based on our conversation earlier, they know what it's going to be about. So all I need to do is just really attach a document. So I'm just going to attach this document for which I want them to approve. So I would like for them to approve this document. So I'm sharing this link with them. Once the document is selected, I'm going to select send. So Marcy and Jermaine should know I've received an alert indicating that there's a document for them to approve or reject. So at the moment, no, it's pending a response. So let's view the details of this approval request. Okay, so here's the status requested by Dane Smith just now, and it's now pending response from Jermaine McDonald and Marcy. I can cancel the request, but I don't want to cancel it. I would actually like it to be approved. So I'm currently awaiting it. Oh, look, I have an activity. So let's see what this activity says. Marcy has approved your request. All right, so Teams allows us to collaborate in so many ways. It allows us to do approval. It allows us to do surveys. It allows us to do short quizzes. It allows us to plan out our activities, the various steps we need to take in various projects. All right. There's the possibility within Teams is endless, really. All right, so that's roughly it for me, demoing what we can do within Teams. I mean, I've barely scratched the surface, but if I was supposed to go into all the apps, I would not be finished for today. But so do you have any questions, guys?
Dane, thank you so much for the information. As you know, Dane is a part of the Azure task force of Inova Solutions. So if you need any more information, if you require any more information, want to know more about the Azure task force or the subject that we discussed today, please send Dane an email. If you do not have any questions now, you can post them in the Q&A. We'd also like to invite you to take part in our survey that we do every webinar. It's very important for us. It's essential to us that you give us feedback on the content we share, the content our knowledge that we share with you, so that we can improve our performance, improve our content that we provide you as well. So if no one has any more questions, we would like to thank you for participating in this webinar. We would also like to invite you to the next webinar. As you know, they take place every Thursday, every last Thursday of the month. Dane, if you could switch to the next slide.
Okay, sure.
So the next session of Tech Talks will be taking place on July 29th at the same time, same place on Microsoft Teams, and we will be talking about automating business tasks with Power Automate. This looks like a very interesting topic as well. When you receive the thank you email, you will get the link as well to sign up for this webinar. So don't worry, you will get the information to sign up. If there are no more questions, Dane, I would like to thank you so much for your information. We really enjoyed this webinar. It was very informative. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
All right, thank you, Marcy.